If you haven't gotten this in episode of Heresy yet, you're missing like the whole gameplay loop of episode of Heresy. This one upgrade literally changed your whole gameplay loop, the whole way you play this game, and put out some serious damage in episode of Heresy, and you might as well abuse it while you have it. So on the path of ambition, there's a perk on rank 12. If you haven't got to rank 12 yet, get to rank 12. You're missing out. There's a perk called Sumptuous Repass, which basically says consuming the sigil stone will clear all stacks of suffocating terror. You ain't worry about that part. You worry about the second part, which says consuming the sigil stone increases your damage dealt. Increases your damage dealt. Okay, you don't have to have no terror on you to activate that part of the perk. Okay, when you pick up a sigil stone on the ground, path of ambition, you gotta absorb the ish. If you gotta shoot your orb, you're on the wrong path. On path of ambition, when you absorb the sigil stone, this gives you a 100% damage buff, aka it doubles your damage. Meaning if you're doing 2,000 damage, you will now be doing 4,000 damage. Not only that, this buffs all damage. It's not just towards weapon damage, it's not just towards ability damage, all damage. So if your threatling doing 800 damage, it's going to be doing 1,600. If your weapon doing 2,000 damage, it's going to be doing 4,000. If your super doing 500,000 damage, it's going to do 1 million damage. It doubles all damage that you have for a whopping 15 seconds. 15 seconds. That's longer than some buffs in this game when it comes to like radiant and stuff. 15 seconds from picking up a sigil stone, you get double the damage on everything. And not only that, it stacks. It stacks with everything. It stacks with radiant. It stacks with your surges. It stacks with everything. Exotic perks, all that. It stacks with those as well and doubles it. Not only that, if you pick up another sigil stone, it stacks on top of itself. So the multiplier goes based off of triple, quadruple, quintuple, that type of thing, right? So if you pick up 2 sigil stones, instead of it doubling your damage, it triples your damage. So if you're doing 2,000 damage, you will now be doing 6,000 damage. Okay, triples all your damage if you pick up 2 stones, so on and so forth. To the point you can set up boss rooms and dungeon rooms with sigil stones on purpose, and then the moment DPS finna start, go pick up all your stones, and then for that DPS phase, your damage will be doubled, tripled, or even quadrupled. Again, this is only on path of ambition. Make sure your orb is white. It is not on path of resolve. Now, I got a lot of notes on me I want to run down to give y'all a more in-depth explanation on this, on how it works, because I know a lot of content creators don't know because no one actually went in to go test it. So that's what I want to do for you guys, to give y'all a good explanation of how it works. What's the rundown? Is it worth wearing the armor? How can I set this up in my advantage, in my favor for DPS phases and stuff? Since contest mode is coming out with the Rights of the Nine, I want to be able to give y'all the greatest advantage y'all can get. Right now I have no armor on, no Heresy armor on to increase the drop rate of the stones. So while running this low sector, there's 25 enemies in this low sector. This how many times I ran it like over 20 times to get the data that I needed to know what's the spawn rate of these orbs, right? There's 25 enemies in this low sector. Without the armor being on, I always got an average of, from all the times I did it, it's an average of 20 kills for an orb to spawn. There go the one right there. We probably killed like 10 enemies right there. 10 to like 11 enemies right there, okay? Without the armor, on average, I was getting the orb to drop basically almost every 20 kills I got. No matter what, an orb always spawned within 20 kills. Did it spawn early sometimes? Yes. Sometimes it'll spawn on the 4th kill, sometimes spawn on the 10th kill, sometimes spawn on 18 kills, and then rarely it'll spawn like on 21 kills. But on average, it always spawned on the 20th kill. That was the like max, okay? But when I threw the Heresy armor on, which makes me recommend the armor for people to have on, you only need 4 pieces on. You put whatever ornaments on it, whatever. You only need 4 pieces on. The Heresy armor make it that increase the drop rate of sigil stones by 10%. If you have 4 pieces on, and increase by 40%. That's the max you can get, right? When you have this on, my average went from 20 kills to 14 kills. I always find an orb with this armor on with 14 kills in this lost sector with 25 kills. Okay, now this is where the math get kind of funky. Now, even though in this lost sector it proved to me that orbs, the stones spawn quicker with having the armor on, there's 2 variables in this situation. One, there is an inside cooldown, an internal cooldown with the sigil stones, because people wanted to do the AFK farming. They was corny, just play the goddamn game, bro. But people wanted to AFK farm in this game, so Bungie had to put an internal cooldown so people wasn't maxing their rank out quick, which kind of ruined the fun that would have came from this whole situation. There go the stone right there. The fun with this situation, with this perk, would have been insane if Bungie, if people went AFK farming and Bungie kept the same spawn rate of the sigil stones. We would have been doing some insane damage, and then Bungie probably would have nerfed it after people had a fun. But I digress. So you're gonna get a perk called Blistering Dominance that stay on for 15 seconds, like I said. But there's an internal cooldown. Even though on average it will spawn 14 kills with the armor on and then 20 kills with the armor off, as you keep killing more enemies, it doesn't replicate that. Because Bungie not only made an internal cooldown sigil stones, but they also added a cooldown, a fixed amount rate, a fixed rate of sigil stones spawning. So, as y'all seen, I did the lost sector. No matter how many times I run that lost sector, I can never make more than 1 sigil stone spawn from that lost sector. No matter what, it will only spawn 1. That's the limit in that lost sector. There's no way of hoping RNG will spawn another one for you. In longer lost sectors, it's the same way. I went to the Dreaming City lost sector. Dreaming City lost sector, forgot the name, over here on the Strand. Aphion's Rest. I went to this lost sector, did it multiple times. No matter what, even though there's way more enemies in there, no matter what, it always only spawned 2 sigil stones. No more than that. On Neomuna, no matter how many times I did it in the arcade lost sector, it always spawned only 3 sigil stones. All the time. Never failed, okay? So, Bungie has limited the amount of sigil stone that spawns in lost sectors. It will always be a set amount. Not only that, the spawn rate of sigil stones differ based on what destination you're on. Sigil stones don't spawn as often on EDZ compared to Cosmodrome, but Cosmodrome sigil stones don't spawn as frequently as they do on Europa. So the spawn rate of sigil stones vary based on what destination you're on. Strikes in dungeons and raids, there is no set limit amount on the orbs. In dungeons, strikes, and raids, sigil stones can drop as much as possible as long as you're killing a set amount of enemies. In this strike right here, Sunless Sail, with the armor on, which is kind of finicky, but it's RNG. With the armor on, I spawned about 11 orbs from me running this strike multiple times, right? 11 orbs. But with the armor off, for some reason, I spawned like 14 to 15 orbs, which is kind of weird. I just spawned one right here. Again, RNG. So, I would recommend having the armor on to increase your drop rate, because clearly it shows when I was doing my lost sector runs. But also, I can't highly recommend it because I don't know if it's buggy in Bungie's RNG, but if I got a 40% increase in my spawn rate of sigil stones, then I should see it spawn way more compared to my runs without the armor on. So even though the armor makes the sigil stones spawn quicker without the armor on, I have more succession of the ore spawning without the armor on sometimes compared to me having the armor on. So yeah, Bungie, y'all gotta look into that one. Y'all gotta look into that one. There go another stone. See, like it does drop frequently with the armor on, so I still recommend it. But sometimes it'd be like, wow, why did I spawn more orbs with my run without the armor on compared to when I do have the armor on? But it's all RNG at the end of the day. Now, second thing I want to talk about, Sigil Stone cooldown. The Sigil Stone cooldown, and what I mean by cooldown, I'm talking about how long it can stay on the ground. In case you're trying to stack it up, if you're trying to stack Sigil Stones on the ground and prep it for DPS phase, Sigil Stones stay on the ground for 90 seconds. Yes, you heard it here. First, Sigil Stones stay on the ground for 90 seconds, aka a minute and 30 seconds. So you can leave a Sigil Stone on the ground for a long time before DPS on the boss. There go another one. See, like right now, I'm spawning Hecko orbs compared to my other runs of doing this with a Sigil, you know, with the armor on, well, the armor being on. But yes, the Sigil Stone stay out for 90 seconds, so you have plenty of time to set it up for both DPSs. And what I mean by set it up, there was a video out there where someone's Sleeper Simulator was picking up multiple stacks of the Blistering Dominance with Sigil Stones. Literally, they were doing 600,000 damage per Sleeper Simulant shot. 600,000 per Sleeper Simulant shot, which is insane. Now, last thing I have to say is your teammates also make orbs for you. Your teammate can kill an enemy and it will spawn an orb from that enemy that they killed, even though you're not the one that killed it or dealt damage to it. So what does this mean? This means that your teammates should also have the armor on, because if they can spawn orbs frequently for you as well, and vice versa, the more orbs. So you and your teammates should all be rocking the armor. Not only that, let me talk about the stacks with the orbs as well. If I pick up an orb right now, right? If I pick up that orb right now on the ground, I'm gonna let it stay there just so y'all can see how long it actually stays out. If I picked it up right now, it give me 15 seconds. If I hurry up and find another orb on the ground within that 15 seconds, if I pick up that second orb, you're gonna see Blistering Dominance go up back to 15 seconds, right? That's what the timer gonna say. But it does not increase the timer for you to get that triple damage. What I mean by that is, like, if I end up picking up another orb, another sigil orb on the ground, and it says, let's see, there go another one. Here go a good example. If I heard from pick it up before I fall off, I pick this up. My Blistering Dominance says 10 seconds, right? It's gonna say 10 seconds. When I get over here and pick up this other orb, when I pick it up, even though it's gonna give me my 15 seconds back, whatever my first pickup timer was for my other orb, that's how long the time's two gonna be on. And then it goes away, as you just seen. I had 2 seconds left on my other orb. I picked up a new one. It did not keep times 2 for an extra 15 seconds. It still expired, and it still kept the same timer based off of when I picked up the first one. So if I pick up an orb, gotta remember this, if I pick up an orb and the timer's on 5 seconds left before I pick up another orb, that does not mean I'm finna have time, I'm finna have triple the damage for 15 seconds. It means I'm finna have triple damage for 5 seconds based on how much time I had left over from the first orb I picked up. Okay, which is very important, because I would have thought that picking up another orb would have gave me that 15 seconds of triple the damage, but no, Bungie's like, nah, y'all ain't breaking the game here. Y'all ain't breaking the game here. So make sure y'all pay attention to that. And that's probably about it when it comes to the orbs. The last thing I would have to say is, I hope I'm getting his name right, the Coalescent Blaze is at Eris apartment. Coalescent Blaze, I'll try to throw a picture of footage in the background. The Coalescent Blade literally is a buff that you get from doing some of the side quests in the Nether, doing all the quests at Eris apartment tablet crap. When you do all of them and do the secrets at the Nether, you'll get a Coalescent Blade, which increases the drop rate percentage of Sigil Stones. So if you don't have Coalescent Blades done at Eris apartment, make sure you go do those in the Nether. Go do those. There's videos out there that show you which Coalescent Blade, where each Coalescent Blade is at. Go do those and get your drop rate increase on your Sigil Stones so you can abuse this even more. You want to have this done before contest mode for these other dungeons so that you can blitz these bosses, stay alive longer, kill the enemies quicker, just way better. Make sure you get these orbs, man. I seen my brother literally one-shot a boss for us because he picked up 2 of the goddamn orbs off the ground and then thundercrashed the boss with the Caress Exotic on the Titans. Literally one-shot the boss because the thundercrash did over 2 million damage. Freaking insane. So what did you gain from this video? Quite simple. Get yourself a Heresy build. I know if you're worried about your stats, then make sure you get the good stat rolls they gave you in the season pass if you didn't already delete them, or at least have on the class item that has no stats. At least get that extra 10% at least, right? Make sure you get that Coalescent Corruption from the tablet. Increase your drop rate by 100% when on Path of Ambition. And yeah, like with the Sunless Sail Strike, that strike take about 11 minutes, the normal one, right? Take about 11 minutes, right? And I just told you guys, on average, I'm always dropping at least 10 orbs to 11 orbs in there, meaning you getting 1 orb per minute. It can be more than that. I literally just did a run and got 15 orbs dropping that. But on average, on a normal run, not that high RNG, you getting an orb drop per minute. Meaning per minute you getting double the damage for 15 seconds to wipe the room out. It's insane, right? So take advantage of this. Take advantage of this. This should change your gameplay style a bit. If someone ever asks you how you get your DPS that high, you can be a dick and be like, don't worry about it, I'm just that guy. Or you can put your friends on and be like, hey, look, get your rank to 12 on Path of Ambition. I know you don't like grinding this game, but that's the one thing you need. Leave these orbs on the ground, so when we do these bosses, we can one phase them easily. If everybody in your team is on board with this information, I promise you, you can one phase every boss in this game. Anyway, love you guys, appreciate you guys always, and until next time, stay up.